Hello, everyone. The DFR DFS Down Under show is back for another action-packed week of DFS action here. My name is Smatho and Hef, as you already know by now, and my fellow co-host here, Big Hef, is back here for another big show with me this evening. Hef, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, Smatho. I'm still reeling from the Reece Stanley incident on the weekend, which ruined my Saturday, but we'll get to that later.
Look, we might open up a little therapy session today for you, Stanley. But look, the positive news here on the DFS well here in Australia is that both Moneyball and Draft Stars have pumped up the pools for the AFL for this week. Big contest this week for the AFL in round 10. Moneyball also have put the stake in the field and said 50,000 on Friday night and a whopping 75,000 on the Saturday slate. And then Draftstar said, no, enough of that. We'll have 75,000 back on you the Friday, and we'll do another 50 on the Saturday. Hef, it's going to be a huge Saturday this weekend. Is this the biggest Saturday you've ever experienced since probably, Tassie's finest Mystic Journey gets up in Flemington? Would you think so?
Yeah, that was a huge Saturday, that one. Let's hope it's a big fill-up this week like that was, Smatho. But I didn't think it could get any bigger than last week. 50 everywhere. And then just 75. Cop that. How good's that going to be? You'll be putting 250 entries in, Smatho?
250. I'm struggling with 5 at the moment. Maybe I'll get out to 10 for Saturday. It's going to hurt my head so hard. But, hey, you got to be in it to win it, as they say. Look, big show. But let's start off with the most favourite part of my duties here on the DFR Down Under show. Thanks to dailyfantasyrankings.com.au is Smatho's 2 thumbs up. Let's have a look at the results from last weekend. And obviously, some players cashed themselves up with all this cash available on the sites. Let's have a look at the results here. Obviously, on Saturday, we had what we had here on Saturday. Let me help you. Here we go. Actually, it was Parasite. Parasite on the Moneyball. It was a really tricky slate for Parasite, so he actually came through with the goods there. And then on Sunday, over at Moneyball as well, Kotma, who has his username as Kotma on Moneyball, is actually known as Clangers on Draft Stars. He actually went Cocoa Bananas on Sunday and actually whipped up all the cash on Moneyball and decided to go the Draft Stars as well. Took all their money as well. And I can see that the return of the King after the old Game of Thrones finishing up, the throne was available again, and old Lamador, aka JK123, came back and decided to go, there's enough of this. I'm the number one king round here, Hef. What do you reckon of those 2 results there?
Yeah, it was all happening with that GWS game, wasn't it, Smatho? Bloody Lockie, Woodfield, and Taranto, they were just going absolutely spastic. And yeah, I didn't play much on Sunday, and I'm pretty happy I did because they were some pretty hard teams to beat, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty hard, but they don't get my 2 thumbs up this week. I am the single slate entry guy. I am the one who just puts one team. And if we go back to Friday night, get this team up on the screen here. Username 21533, a single entry, which was actually a free ticket on Moneyball. Went Wooshka on the West Coast game. What an effort. $6,500 for virtually no investment at all. What do you reckon of this particular fill-up for old 215.33?
We like giving these guys a bit of a pump-up on the show, don't we, Smatho? Just the single entry just gives hope to everyone who just wants to throw a team in and follow it along and dream of the big riches and didn't even pay for this one. I don't even know how they've come up with the username 21533. Any ideas what that might refer to, Smatho?
Wouldn't have a clue. Even my maths background struggles for me. I'm like 2 times 15, and this just doesn't work out. But hey, he's $6,500 richer for putting in a team on the Friday night special. So get the emoji up. 2 thumbs up for you, 215.33. Take the emoji off. Bring it back to me. Here's my 2 thumbs up. I love single entries. I'm sorry, Clangers. No good. Sorry, JK. You didn't win. I'd rather see these little single entry bookers, and they're going to get my 2 thumbs up every week. All right. Let's slide over to Draft Stars, and obviously the 200K final second week of qualifiers we're run and won. And if we bring up the old splash here that Draft Stars provided for us, some big hitters came through this week here, Hef. The old, I have to say now, former number 1, old Brody Ford, snagged himself a ticket. Number 7 ranked DFR player, Procession, also picked up a ticket. Clangers, as I said, he had a right old fill up on the Sunday. He's actually also in the top 20. And Rexel 9. I think I've seen his name already before. In week 1, he's just come in with a second ticket and just maxed out his entry. So, Hef, as a fellow qualifier here, you've got some real big hitters already filling up the seats for the KO 200K final for Draft Stars.
Yeah, there's a couple of names I would have liked to just bolt me up the whole series. Obviously, it's not really going to happen with a few of those guys that are some of the best players in the industry. Rexel can put the feet up and kick back and make his plans for August 11. He's done his job. But yeah, there's still 93 tickets left. Obviously, as some of these big guns, there's a few of them are probably going to win their 2 tickets and then they're out of the running. We don't have to worry about Wrexham anymore. So those North Melbourne games will be up for grabs, that's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, no. Let's B Horse, he had a big game on Sunday, didn't he? I don't recognise that name, but good luck to him. I'm sure he's wrapped on his way to Melbourne with the rest of us, and plenty of spots left, so make sure you get involved in that one.
Yep. Qualifiers throughout the next probably 10 rounds of the AFL, so make sure that you for that. So it's really good news for that. All right. We're going to mix things up here tonight, Hef, on the show. I've actually got a bit of airtime here to just a bit of DFS 101 in Moneyball. It was actually my first week last week playing Moneyball, and I was kind of look, the show was great and your content was great, but I was a little bit lost here being a Draft Stars little boy for the last 3 years, and I was really struggled. So what I'm going to do tonight, Hef, I'm going to do some old quick Q&A. I want you to help me out. Second up from the spell, as they say, usually goes all right. So I've got the old avocado here. I've sent you some screenshots. I want you to have a look at these, and I want to answer my questions. So the first one I want to talk about strategy for building lineups on Moneyball happened on Friday night. Okay, Friday night we talked about Eagles and Melbourne are going to be no good, and that was the game narrative. So I jammed in some high price players. If the team's up here on the screen at the moment, so I had Maxi Gawn, Luke Shuey, Shannon Hearn, which I thought would be a great POD, and I forget what I said there. Jack Redden, right? First chunk of my salary, I thought, yep, let's go a stars and scrubs approach. But as you can see there, I end up with a lot of Melbourne scrubs, and obviously they lost the game. I put the 2 15-33 side as comparison. He's gone a lot of Eagles in a kind of stars and scrubs as well. So what happened here for me? Coming 1100th out of 2,000 didn't make me any cash at all.
No, well, first of all, Smatho, I don't think you really listened to what I had to say last week. I think I had Jay Lockhart as my favourite fade of the week, or of the game. And there you go. You've managed to find him a spot. I don't see any Dom Sheed in there. I was giving Dom Sheed a bit of a rap, but like you say, if you were keen on the Eagles, Smatho, you've played 3 of them. That would be my first comment. It's Moneyball pricing is a bit different to Draft Stars in that Draft Stars is a very sort of stars and scrubs. You get those 5K guys, and we want to pile into them. But in Moneyball, you do seem to see a lot of teams that are a little bit more evenly spread through those sort of middle salaries. That's one thing of, but it's still very slate dependent. Like you see that Friday night game, the scrub, so to say, Oscar Baker at a 31 at 3,500. Harrison Petty, he was another cheap guy. He didn't really score much at all. So that when that happens, the stars and scrubs strategy of the high price guys with the low price guys, that's not really going to work out. And then it turned out that a lot of those mid price guys or mid to higher price guys, such as Hearn, Sheed, Shuey, just a step down from the top guys, they were ones who were dominating with the scores. So it's not something that I say you can be definite one way or the other. If you want to play the middle prices or you want to go stars and scrubs, you've still got to treat each slate on its merit, so to say, and try and find where the value guys are that you're happy to play, and then maybe work around that.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. If I'm going to go stars and scrubs, I'll make sure I got the scrubs for the team that's actually going to win the game.
Yeah, that's
But
yeah.
I think I found myself with spending too much money for the too many players that were going to get a ceiling game, but I just didn't have much money left for the rest, and that's what happened. So I'll take that on board for next time.
With
All right.
Moneyball too, you do have those positions. A lot of times in these single games, you might only have 5 or 6 guys at a position. You might not actually like any of them. So you've sort of, like we do with the rucks, and we work out whether to trade down just because we don't like the rucks at all. Sometimes that's comes into thinking on Moneyball that maybe you don't like the options up forward, so you will just take the cheaper guys and spend the money where you like it.
That's one thing I've kind of struggled to start with is sometimes I click on a position and just go, there's like 6 blokes I don't want to play, and there's only 7 available.
Yep.
But I have to think, well, everyone else is in the same boat. So sometimes you just got to eat it up and see how you can get the point of differences in other positions, especially using that flex, as well.
Yeah, I think you can sort of let that dictate your teams a bit as well. If there's only 2 forwards you like, don't be scared to really get a lot of those in your lineups and then differentiate through the rest of the positions.
All right. I've got another one, Hef. This is Saturday. All right. I was pretty boyish on Saturday thinking, yep, big 50K. I've got some good resources going on the DFR website, looking at all the value in that. And then I put up this particular lineup, and after lock occurred and I looked at it, I've just gone, oh, this is actually pretty shit, to be honest. The reason why I thought it was pretty shit, thinking, okay, it's a big slate of 5 games, and all of a sudden I've got Dunkley at 28%, I've got Myers at 16%, I've got Ed Phillips at 25%, Tim Kelly at 28%, Constable at 22%, and then your man Colin, the highest man on the slate. I thought it was a little sneaky play, but no, he got 35%. And I'm thinking, oh my god, this is actually a really, really chalky lineup that if it's going to hit, I'm not going to make much cash because everyone else has got it. Talk me through what I can do about these particular chalky lineups on big slates. Is there something I can do next time?
On the bright side, Smatho, how well's our viewership going? If Colin O'Riordan's come up 35%, I'm going to claim if he happened to score more than 46, I might claim that. But I think
we went up in price too. He went up to 4K this week too. So they're on to you.
I'm probably going to have to go again on Collins. Piers Hanley all over again. Just talking about ownership, I wouldn't be too disillusioned by having too many guys in there at high ownership because they're highly owned for a reason. They are generally the better plays on the slate. But we sort of mentioned this a week or two ago. You do have to make sure you differentiate your team somewhere, which on that lineup, you didn't have a whole load. There's a couple of guys under 10%, but it's not like you're full of 30 and 40% guys, even though you're sort of around a lot of 20% guys, you still have a bit of differentiation with so many players in play. Don't get too disillusioned by that 600 score either. Like someone like Kelly, who could have picked that game? Midfield's got cleaned up. Some days when you're playing GPP type guys with high upsides, this type of stuff's going to happen. One way I would try and find someone at a higher ownership to try and fade. I like to look at the rookies who are priced up at sort of their highest price for the year. I usually think they're decent guys to go against. Lockhart was a bit of an example of that against West Coast when he had a couple of good games, but getting back to a bad matchup and they can always hit the wall, these rookies. So Mears is a guy, 16% for Mears at 6,400. It seems like a pretty bad spot on reflection because, yeah, we want him to try and hit that 90, 95, which he can, but there isn't a whole lot of upside, and that seems really at his peak, Mears. So a guy like that, you really want the upside, and I don't think Mears has that type of upside, and so then you're getting that ownership 16%. That seems pretty high for a guy that isn't going to really win you a slate at that price. It's easy to say that about Constable now too, but 44's totally off the books for him. He's been really good this year, but just something those rookies can hit the wall, and maybe that's that's a reason you can probably fade a guy like that if you are thinking they're going to be highly owned and you want to get away from them.
Yep. All right. Let me show you one more. This happened on Sunday, and I didn't really have any time to put this line up in. It was literally just on the phone, 5 minutes to let me chuck something in because there was a little sneaky overlay on money balls. And I thought, okay, we all talked about Gold Coast and we just say, yep, attack them. And I've gone the old stack against them. If we bring up the line up for us, it actually went pretty well. Ended up being 39th out of 375, so nearly top 10%. Talk me through this one. Obviously, I had some high-owned guys like Rocky at 90%. And, who else has got there? Dersma at 40%. But I managed to sneak in some port guys who are actually really, really low-owned. And I think I hit the jackpot with Carl Amon and even Darcy McPherson, who's going gangbusters for the Suns this year.
Yeah, he is. He's going really well, Darcy McPherson. Like you say, though, he was 31%. Remember when Aaron Badley, you're a golfing man, Smatho, he used to just step up and hit his putt, didn't he? That's all I don't know much about golf, but I remember Aaron Badley just step up and hit it and straight in. And that's what you've done with this lineup. You said you've got 5 minutes, you've thrown the lineup in. Maybe that's your secret, Smatho. Don't overthink it. But at least this time you were going for the Port. You thought Port were going to win, and you've played your Port players. So that's an improvement on the Gold Coast Melbourne game. Like you say, Carl Amon, that's a great player. I like that one. He's got that upside. He's an unfashionable type of player that usually results in a bit lower ownership. The point I was making about the rookies before sort of come up there with Dersma. He seemed reasonably priced, but these rookies, they can go off the boil and have a lower game if you want to get away from a guy like that. I like that you paired your defenders there, Darcy Byrne-Jones and Houston, even though it didn't really pay off with Houston. But I like that thinking. And then you just played a couple of reasonably safe-looking Gold Coast guys. So that's a good lineup to my eye.
Yeah.
Are you far off the winners?
I think it was around 35 points off the winner. So, yeah, Dan Houston and Dersma, change those two, and, yeah, cash me up.
Yeah, you could easily lob into a Broadbent or something instead of Houston, just sort of luck of the draw, and that would give you another 30-odd points.
Yeah. No, well, thanks for that. That was, thanks for pumping tires up from that particular one. But, yeah, I think I've learned throughout the weekend that I really need to concentrate on game narrative and what players can really help take me to that narrative instead of just picking guys because I can look at the resources on DFR and thinking, yep, that's great value. That's got a big projection. And then all of a sudden, oh, shit, what else? I've got no money left to pick other guys. So
that's something we sort of got into with the Big Bash season too, that we were trying to sort of picture how the game was going to play and attack certain bowlers or batsmen based on that. And I think you can do that with AFL as well. One of the most obvious one is we have these games where one team dominates the ball in the back half. We saw Collingwood do it against Richmond earlier in the year. West Coast like to do it a bit. And you can sort of build a team around a couple of backs from the same team. And then if they have a defender who you can put in your midfield and then you can put another one in your flex, you do sort of build a team around an idea of how the game might play out. Or if you do like one team to dominate the other, you can go with a big stack on that side or something like that. So, like you say, if you can sort of think how you think the game might pan out rather than just going pure numbers, that can, especially if you're playing a small number of lineups, that can give you a lineup to compete with the big boys, I guess.
Cool. Good. I like it. All right. Let's get stuck in the footy. We've got a lot of cash to win this weekend. So let's start with Friday night. It's the Friday night footy with Sydney versus Collingwood up in Sydney. The line's currently 17.5 with a total of 166.5 points. Moneyball came out and went Wishka and said, look, another 50K for you. And then obviously DraftStars said up the ante and went $75,000. So there's plenty of money there for a $15 entry. Also, there are other contests available, including $2 minis, which obviously I might be into there. And also the qualifiers for the KO Live final will be available on Friday night. All right. Let's have a look what the DFR site say with their resources. And I found out that, actually, let's talk about team first. I thought a lot of players would be coming back for Collingwood for Friday, but a couple are already scrubbed out already, including Adams and Darcy Moore. He's not playing this week, but we probably get Degoe back and Big Mason Cox. Talking to the Swans that...
I have to jump in there, Smatho. The dogs are barking Jordan... I think the dogs are barking Jordan Degoe, or is that just your dogs in the background there?
It's my pup.
Your pup?
A hard time. My pup.
There is a lot of talk to go. He's not going to play.
All right. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Tom Brown's got his trumpet out about Syndesmosis. I can't even pronounce it.
Syndesmosis. Syndesmosis. Oh, God.
Yeah, it sounds like he's in a bit of trouble too, Big Coxie.
But it's Tom Brown, though. I mean, as they say, a clock is right 2 times a day, and how many times Tom Brown is right?
Exactly. You throw enough mud at a wall, some of it's got to stick.
Some of it stick.
He's gone past. Really going to have to look at these teams because, I think, and like you say, a Buddy and Josh Kennedy, who knows if they're going to be back or not? What's going on with Buddy? Is that a 1 week?
Yeah, slight hamstring. 5 weeks later. Who actually done his hammy is Zach Jones. Has actually done his hammy, so he'll be out. So that's going to open up a bit of midfield half back time. So we'll try and see if we can find someone who's going to do that particular role. All right. The dog is going nuts here, so Hef, just bear with me. Viewers, bear with me. We might have to let him in a minute. All right, resources. Pies are the second stingiest team in the league, but they're overall number 1 for scoring. They only allow 2.3 tons per game, which is one of the stingiest. But Pies do let a few points to the backs. Swans are now starting to leak points everywhere. 3.400 tons and a leaky midfield as well. The trend is going up. Look, it's an easy game to attack here. The narrative. We can talk about Pies mids, smashing Swannies. What do you reckon going to take of this particular matchup?
Yeah, the midfield really stood out for Sydney, and that's sort of an area I've been happy to take the Swans over the past couple of years is contested ball in the midfield. The contested Bulls have been able to get a hold of Sydney. What's going on?
I'm gonna deal with this dog.
I'll run through.
I'll watch the show later. Here you
go. All right. We'll try and sneak a few tips in here before Smatho comes back. Usually we always go straight to the rucks in these games. With Mason Cox. Yeah. He's the best, Smatho. We're looking at the rucks. With no Mason Cox coming back in, Brodie Grundy, he's in unbelievable form. He's probably going to smash up again here against Callum Sinclair, who we love to target in DFS. He's last year at the SCG, he had about 140-something points, Grundy. There's no reason he's not going to do it again. I'd much prefer to pay up for him than Sinclair, and I don't think we're going to have any other options with no Cox. And obviously the Swans just like playing the one ruck as well. So it's not telling you anything you don't know probably, but Grundy is another play for me. As I was talking about, the inside midfielders tend to score really well against the Swans, and Pies have got just a plethora of gun midfielders that we can work with. I was really hoping Taylor Adams came back, but it doesn't seem like he will. So we've got to look at Treloar. We've got to look maybe at Pendlebury. Even Rupert Wills at a cheaper price because he is that sort of inside player. I'd love to see Braden Sear get a game for the Pies soon. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But yeah, I really want to target the inside midfielders for Collingwood. Forwards, I'm not a big fan of in this game because both teams are quite good at defending forwards. 6,600 for Chris Mayne appeals from Collingwood as he's not really a forward. He runs off a wing. He's capable of scoring 100. I think he's a really good play. And then we might have to look at trading down in the forwards. A guy like Nick Blakey, skinny-looking fella, but he's got some real go in him. He's got some real talent. He scored 80-odd against the Bombers there a couple of weeks ago, which is no mean feat. The Bombers are pretty good at defending the forwards. $3,900. He's probably as good a spot as any to trade down. We've got Smatho back here.
I'm back. Hef, do you know any good Hobart pounds that could accept pups?
I know one M. Rice, the pound. I don't know. I've almost run through this game for us, Smatho. I'm onto the backs. Your man, Jakey Lloyd, you love him, Smatho. He looks to have a pretty good spot. We know that one area that Collingwood can give up some points is to the back line. Last year in this game, actually, Newman, Rampy, Alir, all turned up in the back line for Sydney.
Yes.
Yes. I said it's going to be hard to find some value. I'm going to have to go Colin again.
Yeah.
My
man,
Colin, 4,000. It's going to open up. Like, it's a good spot against the Pies to play your cheap backs there. I much prefer him than the cheap forwards. And then we've got to think, who's George Hewitt going to go to, Smatho? Did he even go to anyone last week? Did you go to Bellreeve?
No, I didn't go to Bellreeve, but I did check out the DFR website and checked out the old Taggers tag, and he didn't do a really good job on Zeeble. If he was going to tag anyone, it should have. I think you got Higgins. Yeah, so I did. Higgins, it was someone else. Maybe it was someone else, but yeah, I think they have to nail the tag tomorrow to, there's plenty of mids to tag, but
I think Trelaw probably stands out, but then yeah, there's some chance they go to Pendlebury or Sidebottom. Yeah, I think Trelaw, but I don't think it's set in stone for this one. And Pies, I think we've learnt by now that the Pies don't seem to care. They'll just go head-to-head with anyone, and why wouldn't they?
Oh, look, Hef, you'll have 25 entries tomorrow, so I'm sure you'll cover all those bases for tomorrow's matchup. But look, unfortunately, that was obviously a great take. I missed half of it because obviously the dog's dead now. But I do have a sneaky to cover my vet bills after killing the dog. Avocado, get on the screen. Sneaky, this Sydney Swans under 60.5 total points on Bet Easy at $3.15. Look, the Swans are on Broadway. It's going to be a bit of a struggle in terms of scoring, even if Buddy's back at the SCG. I don't see a shootout here. Even the line at 166.5 is a bit generous, in my opinion. So, little sneaky, $3 for under 60 points. 7-8 goal effort, I think, for the Swans. We'll see how we go with that one. All right, let's move on to Saturday. And, the big 75K on Moneyball for Saturday slate. 5 games. Hawks and Port down at Utah's, North Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium. The Crows are playing the Eagles at Adelaide, and just doing a bit of research, the Eagles have a fantastic record at Adelaide Oval, by the way. So kudos to your team there, Hef. The Suns are playing Geelong for the Gary Ablett Cup, and then the Dreamtime Essendon Richmond kick off Saturday evening's festivities. Grasshoppers also come to the party with a nice $50,000 contest as well. I think it's going to be pretty easy narratives here, Hef. We've got leaky Suns. We've got leaky Tigers, but not as leaky as Suns. According to the cheat sheets, I've had a quick squeeze at them on Saturday. Top 5 projected players are actually 3 from Geelong, and they're playing the Suns. All right, so we can keep it simple, stupid, or we might have to dig for some gold from other particular matchups. I've jumped on the promo earlier this week. I've got 10 whopping entries. That's 9 more than I usually play. So give me some positive wisdom. Give me a G up to get these 10 lineups in. Tell me.
That's a good point. Keep an eye out for these promos from Moneyball. They've actually got one run at the moment for Friday night's game. If you put 5 teams in before 10:30 p.m., you get an extra entry for free. And every 5 teams after that, they'll give you another extra entry, and that's only till 10:30. So while you're watching, get over
tonight,
some teams in and get you some free entries. And keep an eye on Moneyball because they did one for Saturday, obviously. I'm sure they're going to have more to come. They've really come in strong, Moneyball. Let's have a look at this slate. Thanks to Milanos on chat there for telling us to stack the dogs. That sort of makes sense after your shenanigans, Smatho.
Fair enough.
Rain alert Saturday in Launceston. As we know here in Hobart, it always rains in Launceston. It's probably going to be a dirty day. That's something to think about. Do like targeting rucks when it's going to rain. A few more stoppages. No Scott Lycett this week is the rumour.
Oh, Okay.
which
All right.
means Paddy Ryder might have the ruck to himself. And especially if it's a wet game and he gets a lot of stoppages in the ruck, he's good tap ruckman Paddy Ryder. He looks like he's a guy that has a reason to go well above his salary. So Paddy Ryder's a guy I want to keep an eye on.
But there's no big boy McAvoy in there. So what's it? Johnny Segler. Jeez, it's going to be.
So Johnny Segler had 100 last week. Big boy obviously went off when he did his ankle. Interesting, Segler though, he didn't score that much from hitouts. He had 26 possessions, which is unheard of for a bloke of Segler's size and ability. There's talk they might bring Pitane in to help him, or if they don't, then Segler's obviously set to go really well as well. And while we're still talking about rucks, Ivan Soldo, the AFL Tribunal, has been a disgrace this season. How Soldo is getting suspended when Fife got off. I don't think there was much in Gary's, but there wasn't much in Soldo's either. Fife is the one I cannot believe got out. He just elbowed him fair in the head. But then they just pick on the blokes that no one really cares about. He's Avocado's favourite player, Ivan Soldo. I think he's really stiffly missing out, and it's a really bad time for him to be missing for Richmond because what have they got now? Noah Bolter, and they got
it's Bolter time. Surely it's Bolter time.
The big yearling colt, Noah Bolter, and then there's another young ruckman there, Callum Coleman Jones. I don't even know his name, to be honest. 19-year-old, got some raps about him. It's probably a bit early for him to be in the seniors, but they might have to play him because they got no one else. But all of a sudden, we've got 3 great ruck options. So flex. Could be time to flex in a ruckman. And then we can take advantage
double ruck
stack. These guys are all going to be value options as well, so we can spend up.
Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough.
I like your Geelong comment, obviously, Smatho against Gold Coast, especially the guys in the inside midfield. There's no reason Tim Kelly can't hit back and go huge. Mitch Duncan's in really good form. What's going to go on with Dangerfield? Do you reckon he'll be there, Smatho?
Dramafield. Oh, well, look, you have to get on the old sharps and see if he jumps on the plane. Oh, the old Gold Coast, you know. I mean, Geelong is starting to get a bit of a bad rap here, Hef. I think, they're just trying to do a good thing, just making sure that teams are good to go, but
I think they deserve everything they're getting at the moment, Geelong. It's a disgrace what they're doing to us fantasy players.
Disgrace?
It's absolutely disgraceful. My Saturday,
it's a bit harsh.
Lucky I don't have a cat because it would have gone over the back fence when Reece Stanley pulled out. I had heaps of Reece. It's been happening every week. They're always playing these stupid games. Chris Scott said, I understand there's betting and there's fantasy. I don't really care about it, though. As long as the right people know what's going on, that's okay with me. Well, here's a wake-up call for you, Chris Scott. If it wasn't for all the fans out there paying their money to watch this game that gets a little bit worse each year because they keep tinkering and mucking around with it, you get paid a boatload of cash to coach blokes chasing a bag of wind around a grass oval for your whole life, and it's because of the fans. So how about you look after us, Chris Scott?
Shoot this dog. Boom. Hef's gone on Rambo on us. Wowee.
Extra red here.
Wow.
Extra red.
Red City.
It's just both these Scott boys. We've been through the Brad Scott high five debacle of years gone by on the footy show, and now Chris is just really getting up my goat as well, Smatho.
Chris Scott, that one's for you. By the way, I've nailed the dog who's sitting on the couch right here, the eyeball. Now he's just decided to eat my nerve, bloody bullet. I don't care because he deserved a bullet after that. Just grab me.
Well, let's hope the authorities take that, Smatho. Where were we? Yeah, Geelong. At least, like I say, we're going to know they're going to have to get on the plane. Do you reckon Gary's going to go up there? He's not real popular in Gold Coast town, Gary.
No, he's not.
But they've been talking up this rest all season. It wouldn't surprise me if this is the one they've got penciled in. Where else are we going? Love Johnny Giles to make a comeback for West Coast, but it's not going to happen.
No.
Hickey, I think, has been ruled out.
He's ruled out.
Vardy, jeez.
Oh, jeez. No, we've already got our 2 rucks from the earlier games. Don't worry about old bully Vardy. No, we don't worry about him.
Hawks, backs against Hawks is one I've always loved to play, and especially the tall backs. I don't know if it's a little Clarko tactic just to let the big stiff backman chip the ball around the back line and just stuff it up, because they always seem to get a lot more of the ball against Hawthorn. If it's wet conditions down there, that sort of makes that a bit unlikely. But I always like playing backs against Hawks, so Port backs are on my radar there. Essendon, Richmond. So Richmond we were targeting early in the year, and if you look on their points against tables in the resources section, their last 5 weeks they've been much better at restricting the other team's fantasy scores. So keep that in mind. Yeah, let's go with those value rucks, and then you can mix and match some
All right.
good players around them.
Well, make sure you check out the articles and our previews for the Saturday slate. They'll be going up sometime later this week. Let's move on to Sunday. 3 games: Melbourne and the Giants, St Kilda and Carlton, and Freo and Brisbane in a blockbuster twilight matchup over in Perth. Both sites have put up $40,000 little Sunday sessions for us to go ahead. Look, Carlton have been copping it really, really hard since Sunday after their effort up in Sydney. So, again, it's going to be an easy narrative to target Saints players here, Hef. But I do actually like a bit of Giants in Brisbane, who are now starting to leak fantasy points with 100-plus scores. Any early takes here this far out from a Sunday?
Before we get into this, what do you think of Bolts? Smatho, you're a Carlton man. Yes, yay or nay, Brendan Bolton?
Yes, for now.
We'll give
him the rest of the season. We need, I reckon, at least 6 wins minimum out of the next 13 or 14. So that's a 50%. We want to be competitive, but
I've got a hot take for you, Smatho. Did you see Patrick Cripps go the dressing down, apparently?
Yes.
Cal Bruton player coach style next year, Patrick Cripps. Heard it here first.
He's going to do coaching, running, and
he's going to wear a silver hat like Cal Bruton.
If there was ever a man who could do it, it will be him. But
maybe you should worry about the ball this week because he got eaten up by DeBoer. So that's a good point. Melbourne, we reckon DeBoer goes to Oliver.
Oh yeah,
DeBoer's just turned into some sort of super freak tagger. He's always had a bit about him, but didn't he do a job on Cripps? Gee whiz. GWS record at MCG is totally horrific. We saw what happened against Hawthorn a couple of weeks ago. Melbourne weren't too bad against the Eagles. They sort of didn't have anything to lose, and they sort of just rolled the dice. I'm sort of against your Giants stacks idea, Smatho, but not too bad though, because nothing really stands out here to me. Surely Carlton's got to show some backbone this week, and the Saints are the Saints. Let's not get carried away with them. So I don't think Carlton are necessarily going to be walkovers there. And then Freo, Brisbane. Oh, you love Brisbane, don't you? You're always looking forward to their games each week.
Like they've got McCluggage going, playing well. They've got obviously Neil Robinson's a great little sneaky. I think he's still forward status. I think maybe mid. Not bad. Like Martin's okay in the ruck, but yeah, you can always find a bit of value with Brisbane players. They always go a bit under the radar on slates. So
yeah, they're not well known, are they? And how long is a fortnight in football? We were here 2 weeks ago. We were talking up how easy it was going to be on a Sunday. We could just load Freo players against Richmond.
Yeah.
How stupid does that look now? Obviously, it didn't work then. Maybe who can catch Freo? Maybe that's just one argument that chuck in a couple of Freo stacks, because just when you least expect it, all of a sudden they overfill up.
Yeah, well, they've got no Taberner anymore. He's gone for the season too. So
that's a big loss for him, because Jesse Hogan's not really covering himself in glory, is he?
No, he can't kick a goal. Anyway, all right. So that's the footy. That's the footy for the weekend, Hef, because we've got a couple more items I want to push through. Give it a bit of Rambo time now, since you've already had your rant. Now, DFS golf is back after the US PGA Championship. My boy Brooks Koepka just wiping the field like a dirty nose. Even decided to make it interesting on a Sunday, but just easy win for him. So the Charles Schwab Challenge is at Colonial, which is in Fort Worth, Texas this week. Moneyball will put a $5,000 contest with a $15 buy-in. Then Draft Stars have gone at $10,000 after the success of the major last week, after smashing through the 8K value last week. Let's talk about my article. I've posted that up on the DFR website today. I've gone through my plays. I've also gone through my fade of Louis Oosthuizen. Very easy fade this week. Louis Oosthuizen.
Oh,
Louis.
That's a very German
Masters.
accent you've got there, Smatho.
No, he's from South Africa. He's 85th in shots gained on approach. If you ever know, that means he's no good hitting the green at the moment, and he's at 9K on DraftKings. So we'll fade him, and you'll probably finish top 5. At the Colonial, winners get a plaid jacket for winning, and also a massive trophy. You've got a plaid jacket in your cupboard there, Hef.
I'm extremely fashionable bloke, Smatho, but I can't pull off the plaid. I've got a pleather jacket that sort of wore the night that I went and saw Mark Lecrae kick 12 against Essendon and picked up a couple of jam donuts and trod the gutter and rolled my ankle on the way home. Little inside joke for a couple of viewers. So no plaid for me, but yeah, I'll be getting over and reading your article as soon as we get off here, Smatho. Cameron Schwab? Charles Schwab. Charles.
Hey,
yep. Good to see golf's going berserk, isn't it? Like everyone is just loving the golf.
It's a good fun. Just waking up on 5:30 if you're up that keen to watch golf, or just have a little sleep in and check your teams and how they went over the night, and just going, oh crikey, I've got 6 out of 6 for the weekend, you little beauty. So all right, let's push on. NRL's also on Thursday night. We're at Parramatta. We've got the Eels versus the Panthers. I've gone rogue relief teacher mode here on the DFR side. I've been called into action after our man Frenchie has decided to just put the pen and paper and the statistics and the spreadsheets and the calculator down and gone for a little trip overseas. So in comes the relief teacher who's going to be on a high wage and doing a bugger all. But I've decided to go with Champ, Chalk, Chance. No, it's not Chance. Cheapy and Chump. So I posted that article earlier today. I love Penrith tomorrow somehow. Me and the Dragon got together and said, look, they're due. 6 losses in a row. Everyone will be on the Eels. Take me to cash. So both sides have got $8,000, Moneyball and DraftStar. So make sure you get some teams in for Thursday night. Look, the dog's asleep on their couch now. Look at that. I've killed it. It's dead.
Feels like we go for another half hour then, Smatho, could we?
We could, but these poor viewers that have hung fat with us, we have to let them go. Put some AFL lineups in on from both sides. So, have any parting words before we wrap up the show this evening?
You've got half an hour if you want those bonus Moneyball teams. Interesting slates this week in AFL. There's money galore. Don't get too carried away. Just buy all the money. Still play within your means. Check out some of those smaller slates. We saw a bit of overlay last week on the single games, especially in the minis. So there's plenty of options. You don't have to be piling into all the big tournaments. You can pick and choose like our man Smatho does. Good luck.
Excellent, Hef. Well, thanks for joining me tonight on one of these bizarre nights on the show. It'll be quite memorable for the wrong reasons. Just another week on the show. Look, good luck to all your sides this week. As I said, I might slide in your DMs if you manage to snag a ticket in the qualifiers.
Just on that, though, is that thing around your head, is that out of a dressing gown?
That is... It's quite floral, isn't it?
He's just pulled the drawstring out of the missus' dressing gown and said, this will do me for tonight. Let's work on that next week, Smatho.
I didn't have any Pat Cash / Rambo style because I knew that a little Rambo rant would come out, but that's all I could produce on a short notice on that script. So, thanks very much for joining us tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone on the leaderboards on Moneyball and DraftStars this weekend. Thanks for watching. See you next week.